I'm Jenny. Welcome to my channel where we focus on using ordinary materials to make beautiful things. Today, I'm going to start a series that I'm calling Motivational Monday. Um, I don't know about you guys, but these days I need quite a bit of motivation, I think. It's been a tough couple of years for a lot of us, and it's just been hard, and I think a lot of us are feeling the strain. So one of the ways I deal with that is I have a glue book that I use to put quotes and things in that give me inspiration, motivation, that kind of help me focus or refocus maybe my energy and intentions. So I thought I would show you that today, and we would do a page, and then maybe every Monday we'll do another quote and another page, and maybe just kind of think about the quote and that sort of thing. So let's get started. I want to show you. So this is the book I use. This is the journal I use. I made this one quite a while ago. It has a thicker cover that I've painted, and I just did some kind of crazy stuff on cardboard and used that. There's duct tape over the end to keep it all together. So this is kind of just a book where I just glue things down. It's a glue book. It's a collage book, sort of. And I just use this to think and focus sometimes. So so you can see I've just kind of done some crazy scribbling and stuff. I cut out lots of things from magazines to put in here. The images in here don't have to go with anything. They just make me think of whatever it is I'm focusing on that particular day. I look at the quote, that's what I focus on. I pick things that somehow speak to me or that quote in some way, and that's what I put on there. So my very first one is an envelope that I just stamped some stuff on, and I put that note to self, don't forget, right? So I always start by doing this. I always start with reading through the ones that are here, and then choosing a quote and doing another page. And I find that if I just take a minute to read through the ones that are here, I already feel better. You can always do one more, is the idea. And this actually is a quote from William Shatner. Those of you who might remember Captain Kirk from the 1960s Star Trek fame and many other things. He was Denny Crane on Boston Legal, and he's done tons of stuff in between. But he's lasted many years. He's in his 80s now, and he's still going strong. And so there's an old album. You can see I decorated some of this. There's an old album. The backside has some decoration too. That he does this song, and at the end, the person he's working with says, "Hey Bill, can you turn around and do one more?" He says, "Always can do one more." And I feel like that's something I need to remember. I can always do one more day, one more layout, one more spread, one more dinner, one more meeting, one more whatever it is I have to do that day. So sometimes I think it just takes motivation to get out of bed every day. But there are days like that, and I think everybody has days like that. So here you can see I just have quotes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So that day I was just reminding myself that change is good and that I need to embrace change and move on sometimes. You guys may not know. Some people who are my friends probably already know, that are personally my friends, close by. But in December, I quit my job. I don't have another job. This is my job now. So I'm just kind of taking a leap. And sometimes I need to remember that I need to embrace change, that it's a good thing. It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. So again, you can see this is just stuff I've just glued down. There's not a lot of artistry here. I just picked a color. I did the tag. This is just a glue book, so it's super forgiving and it's super simple and anybody can do it. You just pick things you like and glue them down. That's it. There are no rules there, and it's just for you. And it's just something you can flip through when you need, maybe to remind yourself that you're okay and that you can do one more. So this one, I cut things out of magazines. I like magazine images. There's, stickers, there's old pieces of scrapbook paper. This is a greeting card. This is a piece of wallpaper with a sticker on it. And, so this is just stuff. This is a sticker. So this is just stuff that I went through. This is all washi tape. I just go through my stash and whatever I have. So use whatever you have and just look through it and pick something. Doesn't have to be, profound or anything else. This was just picked based on color. You can kind of see it's all based on color. And I like this one. This quote: doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. Right? Just one foot in front of the other every day. That's all you can do. So this book that I made, this has lots of larger pages that are just made from construction paper kind of thing. So I'll show you back here where you can see. And then some of it I kind of taped in. And then there are a few artist paper things and some wallpaper stuff. But mostly it's construction paper. There are a few things that aren't. But lots of it. This is a greeting card. There's a little bit of music. So this was just kind of whatever I had. There's an envelope. It's just whatever I had. And I just sort of stuck it all together and sewed it into one big fat signature and put it in the book, because it's a glue book for me. It's a place for me to just think. So it's not something that's has to be great for anybody else. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can see I've used wet glue and warped pages, but it doesn't matter. Right? I like this one from Winston Churchill. Never, never, never give up. And then, of course, I have my own little commentary. I'm sure I never do, said the kitty cat. This is a good one from Agatha Christie. Again, this is all kind of pink. This was just sort of a facing page. This was kind of pinky, so I just stuck with pink. Right, so there's some pieces of torn up. You can see this card is really torn up. It's a piece of vintage card, but it was in really bad shape, so I didn't want to put it into a nicer junk journal, so I just put it in here because I really like the image. And you can see I'm attracted to cats and flowers and women. And scenery sometimes. There's, again, just all kinds of colors. So this was cute. This was a little vintage reward of merit that I got in a box of papers somewhere, and it was blank, so I filled my name in because I deserve some credit for showing up every day, right? But this one's a good one from Agatha Christie. I have sometimes been wildly, despairingly, acutely miserable, but through it all, I still know quite certainly that just to be alive is a grand thing. So I like that one. Here's another one. This is a piece of wrapping paper. This was 2, I think. Lots of stickers with those. This is a piece of paper I got in Happy Mail. When you feel like giving up, remember why you held on for so long in the first place. Right? Pictures I like, and don't be afraid to write on them. I put, she looks mischievous. I bet she's the leader. This one's a little hard to read. I did a lot. I was feeling rather dark the day I did this. So I used a quote about dark. When it gets dark enough, you can see the stars. That's from Emerson. So lots of some collaging there and just lots of paint. And I tried to take that dark and turn it into something light and sparkly. So this just goes with this kind of. I didn't put another quote here. I just liked, I did a stencil with the feather. I colored in. This is some wrapping paper kind of, I think. And then I colored it. And then you could see the ink on the other side. So I collaged over that. Much happier that day, or brighter anyway. Adversity is like a strong wind. It tears away from us all but the things that cannot be torn, so that we may see ourselves as we really are. Right, so the birds that day were speaking to me. I did 2 together, with the birds, with the motifs. So I kind of pulled the motif here and pulled it over here. This is a napkin that is attached to just some blue paper. That's why you're seeing the blue behind it. Something from my sketchbook that was, that I tore out. The world is round, and the place that seems like the end may also be only the beginning. Right? And so here we are. I have a list of quotes that I just put together one day when I started the book, way back here when I started the book. I just made a list and thought, I don't want to have to search for a quote. I just want to read through them and find the one that speaks to me on any given day. So I read through these earlier today. I looked through my book. I thought about them, and I decided to do this one. Leap, and the net will appear. So since I quit my job without another job, I'm hoping the net appears. So that's kind of where I am. So that is my quote for the day. I usually start with writing that some way so that I can tear it out and put it in the book. So this is just a scrap of coffee dyed paper I have. I usually just use Sharpies. I have a fatter one and a thinner one, but this is kind of a shorter quote, so I think I'll use the fatter one. Maybe we'll just do a little hand lettering here. Leap. Okay, so we can add some stems to those if we want to. Maybe emphasize some of the letters a little bit. And I don't worry too much about it. If it's not perfect, it's okay. This is about contemplating the idea, right? Leap and the net will appear. So that's the idea. So when I work in my glue book with these, I literally choose a quote, and then I kind of look at the page, and I might choose things to go with the color on the page, or I might just go with random colors, but I choose the quote, and then I just go through my scrap box and find things that speak to me, and that to me is part of contemplating it, right? That's part of the motivation that goes with this book for me, is that I use the time that I'm going through my scraps to think about the quote. So I know that's going on the page somewhere, and I might do these 2 pages together since this one's kind of a small one. We'll kind of do those together. So I'm going to leave that up here at the top. I've written my quote. I'm thinking about it. When I went through my scrap box, I was contemplating it. And so I just pick things that either to me seem to go with the quote or are just tugging at me. I like the color. There's something about the image. And I have, tons of scrap box things. So it's a little easier, I think, sometimes to get bogged down in what you have. So just pick some stuff. And when you think you have enough stuff to, do the page with choices, stop. You don't have to pick the exact thing. I overthink a lot of things. I'm always thinking, if I pick this image, is there one that's going to be better? It doesn't matter because I picked this one. So this one is a good one. So some of the things I picked is, I picked this, which is like leftover from Christmas. So I picked this because I thought it looked kind of like a net. I might use that. I have some of this too that is more net-like, but very sparkly. So I'm not sure if I'm feeling the sparkle today. So I've got those. I pulled my tub of washi tape. And then I pulled some things, some specific images that I feel like could be focal points. So let's kind of take a look at some of those. So again, I just cut some stuff out of a magazine. I really love this. I love the look on her face. I love the hat. I love the jewelry. There's just nothing about this picture that I don't love. So, if you love it, it goes in your book, right? And I could even, maybe put that up here with her hat, although I'm not sure I want to cover up the hat. I don't know where I'm going to put the leaf yet, but I really love this picture. And I like that look on her face that says, go ahead, take the leap. I have some other ones that I pulled too. So I have this one. This was cut from a magazine, and then I embellished it with some stuff. And I was playing around with trying to make some paper dolls. So I cut out a piece of magazine and put it on some cardstock, and then added some different clothing to it and embellished that sort of thing. So I might use her. I like this one better. I have this one. When I think about leap and the net will appear, I think about faith. And so this is a cutout from a magazine as well. This is from a craft magazine. This is from, looks like a magazine maybe, an ad in a magazine. So I think about the power of women and the power of the goddess within. So that makes me kind of think of that. So I like those. I love this image too. This one spoke to me today. This one is from, you can see it says on the back, Tucson Thrift Shop. And so it was an advertising card that talked about, it has their address, and it had like some dates on it for rummage sales, things like that. But this was on the front, and I love this. And it's very Art Deco-y, but it also, to me, speaks of, putting on the makeup, the almost clown sort of, feel to it, the clown sort of look. It speaks to, putting on your brave face, putting on your courage every morning with your lipstick and your makeup and your eyelashes. You do all that, you fix your hair, you put on something fancy, and you go out into the world, and you take the leap every day. You take a leap of faith to go out and live your life. So I was thinking maybe that one. So I'm not sure, that all these really go together, but I'm not sure that they don't. The other one I pulled here is the Eye of Horus, which is a symbol of protection. And so those who are, taking a leap, without knowing that the net is there, but having faith that it will appear, needs some protection. Okay. So those are some of the images I chose, and I think we'll decide which ones in a minute. I did pull just some collage fodder, so I thought I might start with just putting down some color. Again, it's not really about, it's just about whatever speaks to me at any given moment. So, and it's whatever speaks to you. If you want to do a book, you don't have to have you know, a journal that you made. Just use any book you have. Any notebook you have is fine. It'll work. The idea, of course, though, is just to, you know, use it to make yourself something that reminds you that you're brave. Because you are. So I think, you know, I don't want to overthink this, because if I start laying it out, I'm going to worry too much about it. So I'm just going to start sticking stuff down. Because I really do overthink things a lot. And I spend way too much time worrying about whether or not it is exactly right, if I've put it exactly where it should be, if I've chosen the exact image. And one of the things I need to do is not worry so much. So I'm just going to take a breath, and I'm going to contemplate having faith that the net will appear. And I'm just going to pick some stuff. Let's see, use that one. I have some other things here. A little more collage fodder here. Being the supply hoarder that I am, I have way more collage fodder than I probably need. So I hope you guys probably, you know, don't have quite as much maybe as I do, because it takes up a lot of space. On the other hand, if you have space for it, it's all good, right? Let's see what else. Throwing a little color in there. Little gold is always good. Always happy with some gold. I'm just gonna kind of lay a background, and then I'm going to choose a couple of images, those that I showed you, and lay them out on here. This is, again, meant to be an exercise in thinking about your quote and giving yourself some encouragement. So don't overthink it. Just let however you feel about it be your guide, because that's the idea, is to just remind yourself that you're okay. Already used some of that. So I've decided that this is going to be something I do on a weekly basis. You can see from the book that I have done multiple pages, but I've had this book for a very long time. So I haven't really done it on a regular basis. And that's why I want to start this doing, you know, Motivational Monday. So this will post for you guys every Monday, and I will probably do it every Sunday. Thinking about, you know, giving myself some motivation for the coming week. Sometimes I think it's a leap of faith just to get out of bed every day. So, and I know some of you guys probably feel the same way. And all we can do is the best we can do. So I hope you're kind to yourself. And this is this is one of the ways I am kind to myself, is I do something that is just for me, which is really what this is. This is just for me to contemplate what I might want. I've already got some of that color. Just trying to pick some different colors here. So a glue book is a place where you can be completely imperfect, because it's just about putting down something that you like. You don't have to show it to anybody else. It can just be yours. That's why in the front of mine it says Book of Secrets, because I don't really share it with anybody else. This is probably, you know, one of the few times I've shown it to anybody, so you guys are getting to see it. But that's part of my leap, and the net will appear. I'm trying to put myself out there a little more, be a little more open with the people in my life, because I tend to be a little guarded. So part of this exercise is trying to overcome that. And this is kind of looking like a mess, but I think a lot of the color in the background will be good, because we're going to cover it up with some bigger images. Remember how big those images were, so we don't have to worry about whether or not it's perfect. Right? That's not the point. The point is I like it. I like all these colors. I like all these little pieces of paper. I don't know about you guys, but I have a love affair with paper. Paper is my thing. Oh, that one's fun, isn't it? Paper, I love the feel of it in my hands. I love the different weights. I love the way it crinkles. I love, oh gosh, I don't know, what else do I love about it? I love how it's slick and how it's not, and how it's fibrous, and some of it feels like material. Like this is a linen paper, and you can actually see the threads that are used, and you can see along here. So this is like paper, but it's almost fabric, and it almost feels like fabric. So I always think it's interesting to feel the different kinds of paper. I wonder how something like that would look. Should I do bright colors back here? Should we leave that purple, because she's going to take up so much of it? We'll see. No, I'm gonna stick with the brighter ones today, I think. Some days, you know, I'm feeling the darks, and so those get pasted down. But today we're focusing on the light. That's what the leap and the net will appear. So we're focusing on stepping into the light. So we're going to use the bright colors to focus on that. Too dark. Try some of this one down. Not up here maybe, but we can pull some of that down here. As you can see, I pulled way too much stuff from my scrap pile. So this is way more than I really need. But it allows me choices, so that's fine. Some printed. I really like collaging with the deli paper, so I bought some deli paper from Amazon last year. And it's really good to collage with because it's thinner, so it doesn't add too much bulk. It's fun to print on. This was stenciled on, but you can jelly print on it, which is really fun. I really like jelly printing. I haven't done that in a while. That might be fun. So I'm looking at that edge, thinking I've got that straight edge, which is fine. But if I did some of that over it, it would cover up some of that edge. Maybe a little thinner there. Just that pop of color from those. This is from an old calendar. So I find all kinds of things. I have to say I am a pack rat when it comes to paper and supplies. So this year, though, my mantra is to not buy new things. It's to use up what I have. You know, and of course, as soon as I say that, I'll probably find something to buy somewhere. Well, let's just say I'm not going to shun necessarily buying things if there's something that I feel like would be really helpful, or tools or paint, things like that that I don't have that I need. But I am going to try to use what I have first. So if I can find a way to use something I have instead of buying something, that is certainly what I am after this year. So that's going to be kind of my focus on Wednesdays. The Wednesday videos are going to be about, you know, what can I do with this? I'm calling it, what can I do with this Wednesday? So, you know, because I just have to have some alliteration in my life. I find it just makes me happy. So if I come up with things to do something with, maybe that I hadn't used it that way before, if I can make something do double duty, then that's always good. Oh, long time ago, gosh, I can't remember who said it. Long time ago, but I read somewhere or saw, I don't even remember how. I don't know if I saw it on TV, heard it on the radio, read it. But somewhere, somebody said that you should only buy clothes that go with at least 3 things in your closet. And so that means it has to do, triple duty. It has to be versatile, and you have to be able to, do something else with it besides whatever it is you particularly bought it for. And I've always thought that was a really great idea. It helped you, tame your closet, and it always helped me, when you have limited funds, and we all have limited funds. When you have limited funds, it helps you determine, is this something that is versatile? Is it really something that's going to go well, in my closet, or is this something that is kind of a one-trick pony? Ooh, that's really pretty. This came from, look at this, I love this. This came from Happy Mail, that I was a part of a Happy Mail exchange. If you guys haven't done a Happy Mail exchange, it is so much fun. There were some gals on Facebook, part of an art group. Oh, I see my cat has decided to walk across here. That got together and said, hey, I'm looking for people who wants to do an exchange. So we all got onto Messenger and traded addresses, and we sent each other envelopes full of stuff. And so this is one of the things I got, and I really, really love it. I love that she wrote on the back of one of the pieces. This is a jelly print that she did on feels like a paper bag, or it could be just craft paper, but but it's beautiful, isn't it? So if you haven't had the pleasure of doing like a Happy Mail exchange, you should definitely give it a try. So I pulled out, I'm looking at this other stuff I pulled out over here, and I have things that I didn't even touch. Oh well. So that's okay, because they were, I have things over there that are like book pages and things like that. I want to trim this off where I went over the edge a little bit. You don't have to trim it. I'm just, being the perfectionist, neat person that I frequently am. I just can't stand to leave it hanging out there. Even though that's not what this is about. Okay. That looks pretty good. I got a lot of color there. I have to say, I like just kind of the riot of color. So let's test drive her on here. Oh, she's kind of fun on there, isn't she? Even though there's a lot going on in the background, but because she's black and white. So I don't know, do we like her better there? Or do we like her better here? Because if we like her better here, then we'll collage over here, and we could do that there, and then we could do a little more collage over here maybe with some of these other images. That one's going to be kind of a tough sell that close to the corner, because it's going to be, well, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it won't be hard to flip. Get a little more out there. Maybe this is the one about protection. She doesn't, as much as I like this one, I'm not sure I wanted on this spread today. Oh, I don't know. That's kind of good with over that though, isn't it? Because we've got her, and then we've got that idea of put on your makeup and go out to the world. We've got our take a leap. And then maybe over here, we can have our protectresses, right? We have some things to protect us. Okay, so I think in that case, I am going to want to put some collage on this one. But let's go ahead and glue that down before I change my mind, because I will if I don't. So pull it off over here to the side, put some glue on it. I've started putting down old, like you can see, this is old beat up packing paper on top of my desk. I never used to do that, and I have a big table that I work at, and it's a large table, and I'm very lucky to have this large table, but I got so much stuff on it, and I kept thinking, oh, it's okay, it's an art table, if it gets paint on it and stuff, it's fine. But honestly, after a while, it just drove me crazy that it was such a mess. So I covered it with contact paper, and it looks really cute, but now I want to protect the contact paper. Of course, I had to do some light sanding to get all of the lumps of paint and glue and glitter and all kinds of stuff that had adhered to the table, which is why it looks so bad. But I covered it with contact paper, and it looks really good. So I'm doing my best to protect it. So now I have old paper down. Oops. To make sure that I keep the glue off of my table. And you'd think that would kind of be a no-brainer, but it just never really occurred to me that it was going to become such a mess. I thought, oh, I can always just wipe it off, but there's a point where it just doesn't wipe off anymore. I don't know. This is cardstock, so I'm not really sure this glue is going to hold it, but we'll try. If it doesn't, we'll go back with the art glitter glue and try that. So let's see. We'll give it a few minutes and see if it sticks. Okay. See, I didn't need to fill in all those spaces after all. That's okay. Yep, like that one. So, do you guys have glue books? Have you done glue booking before? I know there's kind of a craze with it on some of the videos that I've been watching. People who normally junk journal have taken to using glue books as a place to create lots of collage things. They're using up their scraps and putting them down there so that then they have pages they can tear out and use, which I think is kind of cool. I certainly would not do that with this book because this is my motivation book. This is my book where I contemplate, you know, life, the universe, and all of that. But I think it would be fun to just have a glue book where you just really relaxing. Maybe you cut out images from magazines and stuff, and you just collage them all in one place. And, you know, and then you can cut it up and do something else with it later. I don't know how much. We'll use a little bit of color here, but definitely book page. So I think that would be fun. I saw several of my inspirations, I guess would be a good way to name them. People that I follow on YouTube and watch. I saw several of them doing it and cutting them up later. So there are people who do the glue books and never cut them up because they're sort of like this one. It's something they go back through and look at because they enjoy looking at them. And it gives them, you know, some peace and happiness to go back and look at them later, which I can certainly understand because I know I get peace and happiness from looking at things that I've worked on. Although sometimes I go back and look at things and I tend to pick them apart because I'm very self-critical, which I know a lot of you guys do probably that too. But not this one. This one is not meant for that. There's no picking allowed. There's no, oh, I should have picked a different picture. Nope, that's not allowed. That's a little heavy. You have to, if you're gonna do one of these, you have to kind of commit to just allowing yourself to move along with whatever it is you have and whatever you like at the moment. So don't go back and nitpick it later. Just enjoy it and look at the pretty pictures that you put in, and think about the quotes and find some motivation to get up and do it again. Let's see, I'm trying to think. This is going to take up most of it, so we don't have to cover every little thing, but I do want to kind of cover the edges here. So just kind of using some of these. I can always we can add some washi tape or something. I pulled that netting over here and then I didn't even use it to, well. I think I'm going to use things sometimes and then I don't. And that's what happens to me is I look at it and I go, oh, well, that goes with the quote or that's the theme. I should use that. And then, of course, there are no shoulds. It's really just whatever you feel at the time. And since there are no shoulds, I'm just going to do it. Just kind of cover some corners there. I know, don't need to. Maybe one little piece up here. That center is pretty much going to be covered by, oops, Okay, that one's just falling apart. Okay, I just thought I was gonna use that whole piece. That's what happens sometimes when you have vintage paper. The music paper I have is, some of it is quite old. Some of it is not, but much of it is quite old. This already has some glue on it, so we'll just go ahead and stick it down. Let's see. Okay. I've got some book pages and oh, you know what? I like this, and it's already torn. So I'll leave the wrinkled part so it sticks out. You know, and I'm looking at this going, I really don't have to cover that inner part. Sometimes do you tear paper and think, oh, it looks like the outline of an animal or something? It's like looking at the clouds, right? When you look at the clouds and go, oh, you know, there's a this or that up there. So do I need to do that? I think we have to do that. We'll see about placement there. I'm just thinking that I want my protectresses here. And I think I want that Eye of Horus down here too. So I don't know, do I like her turned that way, or do I want her, maybe I want her turned this way. Right. Kind of pointing inwards, kind of cascading in here. Little protection there. Yeah, except I just not sure about those super straight edges there. Take a little bit of it away, make it look not so straight. If I were doing this in one of my junk journals, I would definitely ink up those edges and things like that, but I'm not so interested in having, you know, the inked edges and all that in this book. This is just about I think that helps. This is just about finding something that I like to look at. So, and I like the inked edges and stuff. It's just not really what I'm after on this one, I don't think. Maybe over here. What do we think? I know that one's kind of square. But that's okay. It doesn't all have to be torn. Okay, I think I like that. So I'm just going to glue that one down. And then that will be this page finished, because again, it's not really about, you know, making something that is perfect. It's about making something that I can contemplate the quote. I think we've contemplated the idea of taking a leap of faith. And did I have that on top? I did, didn't I? There we go. And And then getting some spiritual protection as you go. Okay. Leap and the net will appear. Well, I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me. I know I've enjoyed sitting here doing this with you and talking to you guys. I'm sticking down a little bit there. Might have to put a little more glue. I thank you for joining me. I hope you will like Motivational Monday and kind of hanging out with me while we contemplate some quotes every week. In the meantime, remember, use what you have to make your life more beautiful. Thanks for joining me. Bye.